I'm live. Okay, I'm not going to fiddle around. I'm going to give a quick recap of the streaming situation. And the streaming situation is that I've got OBS dialed in as well as I can probably manage. And it does, while it does jump or, drop out from time to time, the good news is there's also a buffer built into the stream so that if it blanks out, it'll come back on a minute later and you guys will still get everything that happened while it was blanked out. It puts a little delay in the stream, but it's really no big deal and seemed to work pretty well. So anyway, I'm back. Here we go. Let's rock and roll. We don't have a lot of time to dink around, do we? Okay, so I'm going to take this shot from the storyboard, actually. Drag this into Krita. Boom. As a new layer, and that's going to become my color reference. So I'm going to go G key and just color, or I guess I do need to do ink first, don't I? So let's do an ink layer. We'll call this ink. Yeah, I mean we'll call this the color key. I really should call this key, not color, because color usually refers to color being applied, in terms of, along with the ink. So what we want to do here is probably turn this down, and then let's just get in there, hit Control Insert, so we put a keyframe in there. And hey, Ashnan, who just retracted a message. What could that message have been? I'm sure it was something cool and interesting. All right, so we're going to go with an ink color, and we're going to grab our brush, and we're going to get busy. All right, so boom, 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 boom. We're not really fiddling here. We're trying to just rock and roll. I think that this morning was really a good exercise in that I essentially had a 3-hour session this morning where I tried drilling home the animation for this shot using what I would call kind of the Disney technique, which is basically using motion to convey emotion. And for me, maybe because I'm not that talented, like Glenn Keane or something, I didn't think it worked that well. Whereas when I went back to my normal way of working, which is to really focus on the still images, focus on the poses, make sure they look good, that they're on character, and then just modify from there. Meaning, take the assets that are looking good and bend them, twist them, squash them, flip them, whatever you got to do to tell the story. And that methodology seems to work pretty well for me. It seems to hit the sweet spot of not only being time effective, but I actually thought the animation came out better working that way. So, are ya? Awesome, dude. I'm gonna look at your. Is there something on your YouTube channel? Always looking for other people that are kind of doing what I'm doing, I guess. I'll just take a quick peek, and there's your. Looks like yeah, it looks like most of your content's like maybe gaming related stuff or something. But yeah, that's cool. So I wouldn't say I'm trying to make an animated movie actually, because this is quite specifically not a movie. It's a show, a 12-episode show. So I've done the movie making thing, but it's all been live action movies. So live action movies. With my last release being, what, 3 years ago? And then I decided, you know what? I think I'm going to make a cartoon. No, I actually didn't decide to make a cartoon when I actually just took a couple years off from the whole shtick of creating entertainment. And let's see here. Let's zoom in here. I'm going to kind of keep that kind of small. She's got these beautiful green eyes. So let's go with that. That's looking pretty good. Hit the old R key. I'm sorry, the 5 key is what I meant to say. I always say R when I mean 5. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's looking pretty good. So the actual animation for this shot is going to be this. Makes me wonder actually if I shouldn't have a free lock of hair sneaking out so that when she does the thing that she actually blows her hair out, and we'll kind of steal that from, I think we should. Let's steal that from the Little Mermaid. Just that little touch, because that'll be just kind of fun. You know, something to stick in there, see if people notice. Hey, I saw that before. That's what Ariel did in The Little Mermaid. Okay, so, all right, so let me think here. Probably we should just go ahead and do color, I think. Yep, that's what we're going to do. So let's just get in here, snag that color. And I think what we'll do is we'll just put the layers in solo mode. And I'm going to hit the G key to do a freehand polygon, or a freehand path, I guess you'd say. And I'm going to put it in behind mode. So Shift Alt Q puts Krita in behind mode, and that means I can color in the color on the same layer, and it's gonna actually apply the color behind the lines. So sometimes I use the fill tool, sometimes I don't. Here we could say fill tool, but yeah, there you go. I'll tell you, the fill tool is a tad hokey. Let's go back here, sample that color, back here. Now we should be able to go F key, click, 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 and yeah, that's kind of annoying, but that's okay. It's not a tragedy. We can deal with that here shortly. So this is just a Krita thing. You know, you sit there and you say, how can a fill tool be that spectacularly broken? It is. It is. It's got to do with the way Krita manages the pixel data under the hood. But it's not a deal breaker. When you use a fill tool, you get enough leaks and you wind up having to refill stuff often enough that you kind of, if you're like me, you get in the habit of just doing this and doing at least half of your fill operations this way. And you got total control over it. And so, anyway, no big deal. I'm going to grab that color because we are going to have some shadows here. So let's go ahead and smack that in there. Okay, so now, yeah, that level of winkiness in the fill operations is absolutely unacceptable. There is no scenario where you're going to go, oh, well, you know, it's okay. The software just kind of works that way. Yeah, right. No, that's ridiculous. And I tell you the truth, people, I have not figured out. For the longest time, I thought that when you get this effect, this problem with the fill tool, I really truly thought that this was a function of having lines that you'd put in there, like ink lines, and then you like use the liquify tool or the free transform tool to kind of move things around, and then once it gets blurred out a little bit from being manipulated, that would cause this artifact that we see. Doesn't seem to be the case, because I've been taking ink lines that are brand spanking new clean ink lines, and they still are doing this, so I'm not really sure. Maybe I should take a look at what's the latest, greatest version of Krita, or maybe I should just jump over into Tahoma. But the thing about it is, once I get her colored in, I mean, the shadows I just draw as shapes anyway, so frankly, once she's colored in, the way this shot's planned out, she's only going to have to be colored in one time. Then everything else is just going to be manipulation of this drawing that I'm doing. So, you know, you pay the price one time, and then the rest of the way it's all animation, baby. So you're just editing the script, huh? Well, it's good that you're starting with a script. It helps. Now you can obviously start with a, you can go straight to a storyboard and kind of figure it out, or even build up a storyboard into an animatic and go that route. I'm not convinced that that actually results in a stronger cartoon necessarily. I mean, let's face it, Disney always did the storyboard thing. I don't know if behind the scenes they actually had properly written Hollywood type scripts or not. But they always talk about their process as if it's all about the storyboard. And what I have is both. I've got this script, which is 52 pages long, so there is room to trim things down. But then I also have a storyboard of the whole thing that I'm gradually building out into finished shots, you know, like these. So yeah, it works. This is the shot, one of the shots I did this morning. That character. So as you can see, it's 8 frames per second animation. Generally, it's more or less what you would expect from a anime type of thing. So, and as I've explained before, that's pretty much an economic decision. By the way, this is kind of important. In the she's backlit, so it's important that we keep in mind she has turned away from Fala, who's in the background. So really, the light is actually coming from in front of her at this point. Hey, Maria. Hi, all in and out today as usual. Yep, and thinking of Krita. Yep, everything's okay. She, you know, Kyle accidentally let her slip through the doorway. And I didn't even have to go outside. Actually, Kyle had her recovered. The problem with Shiba Inus is that they can go feral really fast. I mean, like really fast. She did get out once several years ago, and it took several days. It was purely a miracle, I swear, that we've ever got her back. She wound up at the you know, the animal shelter because somebody, you know, she probably got sufficiently hungry that she was willing to come to a stranger. And so anyway, thank goodness for that, right? All right, so I am going to put the shadows on a separate layer. And oh, there goes Valerie. Well, you guys know what that means. I got to go hang out with Valerie for like 2 minutes, so I'm going to take a 2-minute break. All right, 2-minute break. See how she's doing today. So I'm going to be back in 2 minutes. But you know what? Since this is an opportune time, I think, to just kind of loop the stuff I've been doing over the last couple days. So I'll just kind of roll this from the shot where Tianara is revealed to be in chains, and I'll be back in just a couple minutes. All right, guys. Hope you don't mind. Hope you don't mind. Check it out. Hope you like it. Back in the saddle again. Alright. It's been a busy day today. Hey, nice job, Yvette. That's great. Yeah, I did a 3-hour session from 6 to 9. And normally we put the character in a group. And then we're going to add some shadows. So we will, boom, alpha lock those and turn off the soloing. So for now we'll just kill the color key. And yep, 3-hour session this morning. Then sent invoices out to some clients. Did a workout, went downstairs and pumped iron for a half hour, and as I say, back in the saddle again. So it's all good. So got a little more, well, shadows, let's say, are a little more forgiving if you put them in a separate layer, because then you can dial them in and out. And if I was putting them in the same layer, I really would have to get this complete shape all in one swipe. Otherwise, the transparency would start to build up on itself, and you get all kinds of artifacting going on. Let me see. I'm gonna just jump back to the jump back to here, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty much one piece of cloth, which may not be the most realistic thing in the world, but yeah, it's looking okay. And I would say here, just a little bit of shadowing under the eyes. Definitely a little bit under the nose. We'll go ahead and fill that in. And probably under the chin as well. We probably want to put that in there. Okay. Now I'm putting the shadows on a separate layer, and I'm doing it that way because that way when I flip the art around, I'm going to have to redo the shadows because obviously they'd be casting differently. So my tasty beverage for this afternoon so far is going to be plain old water. Plain old water. I drink a ton of water. Well, maybe not actually a ton if you're a literalist. You say, well, you don't drink a ton. So like I said, if we get some blanking out from OBS, it should be no big deal for you guys because the stream will actually keep going from wherever it stopped. So if that happens, it probably will. I don't know if it's happened yet, but and then when it goes on YouTube, it's complete with no breaks. So thanks to some small settings in OBS to sort of add a buffer to the stream. Alright, now I'll go ahead and insert a key there. And I didn't call that SHD. Normally I try to come up with little three-letter names. Okay, yeah, so here, so this will be an interesting progression. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn the shadow layer off, and so basically the smart thing to do here would be to get our animation working. Okay, so that key really doesn't belong in there. And also the other thing would be, here's the pencil test. Let's put the pencil test on top instead of on the bottom so that we can see where we're headed here. And we really want to go to here. So what you have is this, basically a tween and then a little change in attitude, not too much. So we're going to do that the Krita way, which is essentially to just grab a selection, move this into place, and then patch the hole. That's about it. Are we still in behind mode? Yes. So now we can patch that, and then just look at whether we want to do a little bit of liquefy to sell the movement a little better. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, so this would maybe come in. Oh man, Krita, come on. Looks like Krita's doing its thing where it wants to force me to keep resetting the size of the... There we go. That's looking right. Okay. So then a couple little changes here. So I'm going to hit the G key and... Oh yeah, we need to not be in behind mode. We should be in normal mode now. To erase the eyebrows and just draw them in a different position. No problema. Alright, and I'm going to do it like this. Zip in here. Hit the B key and We'll see if that worked. I think so. Boom, 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 boom. Did I wonder if I had a little squint there. Yep, I sure did. Okay, I know how I am. So this would be actually, sorry, that should be the freehand path tool. A little bit of a suspicious squint. Back to the B key. Let's flip this over. I'm going to actually bring this down a little bit too so I can see better what I'm doing. And boom. Maybe a faint little thing there. Another question I have is, yeah, I didn't really... I think maybe it'd be cool to have just a little... I don't know. That seems to be stepping a little bit out of her characterization a bit too much. And then I do want to soften this a little bit, just with a little bit of scribble. Soften and thicken, I should say. Alright, checking the chat. Nothing really going on, so cool. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so what about the tween? Well, the tween in the pencil test was we did a slow out and then snap to the new position. So that seems to be the usual way for moi. So sometimes it helps to turn on the onion skins for this a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go take this. I'm just going to angle it a tiny bit and just move it up a little bit, just a little slow out. And that's going to break things down here at the bottom for the obvious reasons. So we'll just kind of go through and do a little patchy poo. And that's done. Okay. Now, will the shadows actually be completely whacked? Ah, we have a key in there, so let's get rid of that key. And save our work. As always, save early, save often. Hey, Dirt. Boom. Boom. Okay, so right there, in the color layer, A key, liquefy mode, just fix that. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so now I guess I suppose a question would be, the shadow doesn't matter on the tween, that's for sure. So I'll go ahead and fix the shadow here, but then after that I think I'm going to probably just, didn't mean to do that, sorry, meant to go GE to erase. So I think after this I'm probably going to forget about the shadows until it's all blocked in. So G, E, that should be black. And now we'll just kind of dial this in. Boom, boom. We got a shadow around there. A little bit here. A little bit under the chin. And I do believe that it would be completely apropos to actually allow her eyelid situation to be a little more dense there. And then I still want to give that faint hint of a shadow under there. Same with the nose. 5 key resets the rotation. And now, like I said, I'm going to kill the shadows and just focus on the what we're doing animation wise. So, because this is going to be a bit of chopping. Hey, NS Animation, haven't seen you in a bit. Drink that water, friends. Drink that water. Okay, so now a question worth asking is, what about the body situation here? I'm going to solo the pencil test. One of the good things is when you isolate a layer in Krita, it also brings it from, if it's got some transparency, when you isolate it, you get to see it full strength. So I would say this to this. We don't want to get too far away from our initial pose, if you will. So I'm going to actually take this and duplicate it over here. Not solo that layer. Did I duplicate it? I guess I didn't. Sorry. Boom. Hey, come on, Krita. Be nice to me. There we go. Alright, so we know we're going to flip this. The question is whether we're going to, how we're going to get it to the, oh, let me check something here. Something's looking wrong. Yeah. The animation wasn't cached properly. Oh. That's not good. Layer, and as you can see, A key, mirror horizontally. Okay, stop. There's the problem. Okay. I mirrored horizontally the wrong layer because I was because the pencil test layer was actually selected. So there we go. Okay, so now let's just rotate this around and get this to this position. We know we're going to have to do that for sure. Okay, and then I'm going to make this a little denser for now so we can trowel this into position, and keeping in mind that I need to select that layer. Let me hit the play button to just... Okay. So yeah, we're not quite where we need to be here, folks, are we? And I do believe I actually gave her a tiny little size boost right there. Okay, so that works. Now we're going to do this in the crudest possible way, which is to just chop and drag, chop and drag. So here we're going to go, I'm just going to grab this batch here and get this where it needs to be. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here because it's just so quick and easy to just move things around and then fill in the gaps. So not going to sweat it too much. Okay, got that. Now we can take the freehand path tool and just fill these guys. Whoops, we don't want a selection at this moment. So let's fill that in, and then we'll hit the E key to erase and just chisel that back out. Okay. So I'm not loving the presence of the onion skins, by the way. And I actually wonder if, let's step back. Okay, so this, I'm going to keep coming back to this pose. Yeah, that works. So in other words, I'm trying to really preserve my actually stop. Let's back up a little bit. We really want this. Okay, so let's grab that and then just take a look at how things are lining up here. What did I change? I got to look at the pencil test. Soloed again to see what changed. Okay. Just a little. Yeah, that's actually just a tween, so I'm actually going to take that back out. That tween. Well, I mean, I guess we could just. That's just a slow out tween. So are we getting the move? Yeah, we're getting the move here, except the, you know, we need to come back to the prior pose a little bit. That's where the onion skins do help a little. So, play. Yeah, okay. So there's where we land, and obviously I haven't dealt with her facial expression. It's clearly quite wrong. So let's erase her mouth. And then what we got to do here is look at, in the pencil test, how did we tween to that? And it looks like it's just a, yeah, real simple liquefy kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is actually drag that key back one so that I can hit the go into liquefy mode, and I'm going to make this pretty big because I want the squashiness of liquefy, but I don't want to move everything. So let's give that a crack. Yeah, okay. Boom. All right, let's get this expression. This is really a key expression, and we're not even going to concern ourselves with her hand at this point. Not even going to worry about it. B key. Whoa. Wrong. Dude, you got to be in the right layer. Okay. And then this, if I'm not mistaken, again, I'm going to solo my pencil test. I think, yeah. So she's leaning on her hand at that point, and then she's done with her little, whatever you call that expression when you sort of blow out some air. And I may tweak this pose, but B key, yeah. Put her in pouty mode. Okay, and for whatever reason we're not getting the color that we selected. Okay, so what about her eyebrows? Her eyebrows are wrong. Up, up, down, down, down. So let's get that. So up. And it's not supposed to be a reversal, so this is wrong. G key, boom. Let's erase this. And then just get back to our ink color and do that. This is obviously going to be the same. Boom. that color. So she's expressing annoyance at this moment. And again, on this one right here, we're just trying to make it look like she's going, rather than fight it, let's just go like this and redo that mouth situation. That'll be easier than trying to match the eyebrow and hope that we're not going to get a little bit of chatter, because as I often say, there's no way you're going to draw something the same way twice. Okay. I think I'm still going to stay away from the hands. We'll get the hands back in there soon enough, friends, soon enough. Okay, so I'm actually going to turn the shadows back on for the moment and the pencil test off, because it looks to me like a little bit of judicious line work here will help kind of drive this home, because that's going to force a certain amount of variety into the animated progression here. So this frame doesn't matter much because it's a one frame tween, but here maybe a little doohickey there, and then let's turn the shadows back off and then just focus only on the... Okay, so we're really going here to this, but so these are both tweens. So there's a great latitude for forgiveness for glitchy poos related to tweens, since they don't really last on the screen very long. That's cool. A little wrinkle there, wrinkle, 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 straightens out. Obviously, we probably should just deal with this right now. So if anybody has questions or comments or whatever, feel free to weigh in. I don't have a lot of great words of wisdom today, I don't think. I'm just really trying to focus on getting in the saddle and getting some work done. So if you like animation, maybe you'll think this is cool-ish. Alright, now her hand is going to be, it's actually kind of interesting because her hand's got to be both behind and in front of. So once she lands, I would say, if we look at this, I would say here, we probably want to just chisel some of this out, because that's going to get pushed in by the weight of her hand being on there. So I'm just going to imagine the hand at this point. That's cool. That's cool. No problem. Okay, so let's just consider this aspect of it. Yeah, because we're definitely shifting direction here. So let's use these little lines to drive that point home. I didn't like that one. Okay. Boom, this is where she lands. Okay. No point fussing forever with it. So that's where she lands, and okay, so we have a problem again. So what I'm going to do is, actually I'm going to fix this as well. I'm going to hit the, I'm going to do a little liquefy here, because it seems to me if her arm's in that position, so I'm just going to keep going with that, because, and probably for the moment just erase the mouth, because it really doesn't need to be in there to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so that gets us, whoops, oh Krita, really? You're going to do that to me again, you stinker. Krita, Krita, Krita. There we go. Okay, let's check the pencil test here. Okay, so this is going to be is this. Let's solo this one. I want to check something. And then, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna have a whole new drawing here. Obviously, that's a tween. Okay, cool. So we come back here. Actually, let's just looking at the density of this. Yep, same thing again. The problem with this is if there's any flaw in it at all in this landing position, it's going to come back and bite me in a big way. So what's kind of chewing up some time unnecessarily is that every time I change this, it affects this pose here, which is kind of dumb to sit and fiddle with that. So now let's do this. We're going to go a natural movement. And then this, as far as I'm concerned, needs to be re-inked. Boom. B key. I think. Yeah, and then this was, yeah, just turn of the head. So this drawing here needs to be pretty much drop dead gorgeous, because we're going to be using it a lot. There are shots that give you latitude to cheat a bit, and then there's shots that, you know, they got to look right because they're going to be on the screen long enough that the audience is going to see if things are wacky. Keep it sketchy. Keep it sketchy, baby. Oh, yeah. Keep it sketchy. Okay. Boom, boom. And I'm going to flip her now, just so I can see and get this curvature. I'm going to trust I can be zoomed in, and actually I'm sure that's not right. Okay, we'll flip it back. Being a righty, this is easier for me to get the long straight-ish lines correct. Boom. So I'll just keep drawing what I can here, and then I'll figure out how I'm going to glue it all together. And it's looking good. It's looking like her, and that's the important thing. Okay, again, not going to concern myself with her hand because that's going to be in a different layer anyway. That didn't work. Okay, let me darken this a bit and see where I wind up getting to. Oh, I kind of neglected to put in her shoulder, really. So, this is one, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to do that. So this is going to have to be done somewhat carefully. Boom. Oh, come on. Really? Really, Dave? That's what you're going to do? Always in the wrong layer. Always in the wrong layer. Okay. Now we'll connect the dots, so to speak. And they don't have to be connected perfectly if we're going to be using the freehand path tool to fill in the color. Nope. That I don't like. That I don't like either. Little offset with the stylus that I gotta be a little bit careful of. There you go. Oh, wow, that looks pretty. That's good. That's good. All right. That's looking pretty good. So those are just tweens, and this is going to be a flip. So really, there's basically two drawings. It's those two. So let's just suffer the humiliation of double checking one against the other, and indeed I do see a little bit of an issue that I'd like to fix right there. Okay, that's better. Okay, so we will work out on the color from here. So let's turn the pencil test off. Let's sample that and see what we get here. I just think, man, I must have, oh, it's because I'm in fast mode. Stupid. Fill tool, but we're not going to be in fast mode, and I think that's what I want. Normal mode. That's the problem. You make one little mistake, and like right now, I have literally no idea what's even going on. I've selected the color repeatedly. Select it. Nothing happens over here. This is one of those things where Krita just can be so stupid. And nothing I do makes that want to paint in there. And it's acting like it's alpha lock. Wait a minute, what is this? I don't even know if I've ever clicked that icon. Because that's not the alpha lock onion skin. Thank you. Thank you, Krita. But now, because you're being so silly, or else maybe I'm being so silly, now I have to redraw that ink line. Curse the lock. I have actually no idea what that does. This is for alpha locking. What the heck does that? Anybody know? Alright, I'm going to look at the messages here real quick. Finished a round of motion mode. So we're going to basically work outward. That'll make it a little easier. And hopefully the fill operations won't be quite as silly now either. Boom. Boom. But we shall see. It must be partly the time of day. It looks to me like OBS is blanking out a lot. But again, the only thing that means for you guys is that there's just a break. Because what should be happening is every time OBS has to reconnect, you know, it takes 7 seconds or whatever. For you guys, the stream continues from where it left off. So that's a pretty good thing. And of course, the video will then be normal when it's on YouTube. Just post it as a video later. So, yeah, this is working. Fill tool. Yeah, the fill tool's not being stupid now. But yeah, it was totally my fault. Totally my fault. Okay, we are in behind mode, so now we need to be a little bit careful. Let's sample that color, and then let's go through here and patch some leaks, okay? So I'm just going to go boom. Boom. We'll just patch the leaks. Probably got one there. Probably got one there. You can see a flaw here that we're going to have to fix here in half a second. But, yeah, basically, I think we're good. Okay. Except we're not good for a reason I'll explain now. I botched those eyes in a big, big way. Holy crap. Yeah, right. That's what you're going to do, Dave? I think not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a circular select because I can hit shift to make it a perfect circle, and then I can hit alt to drag it around. Alright? And now gosh, with that selector on there, I have to squint to see if it actually looks like it's in the right position. Diggity dog. I don't think so. Does not look natural. A little bit of the cross-eyed thing would probably be okay. I think that's probably alright. But no, her eyes are not right. I'm going to actually delete. I'm going to redraw that. Boy, that sucks because that's going to be hard to match. It's never fun when your pencil test kind of has a nice look to it, and for whatever reason when you go to ink and paint you start to lose that a little bit. But it happens. I guess what we'll do is we'll turn the pencil. Yeah, see, it was never really right in the pencil test, so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep easing it in and see if it's. I'm trying to be vigilant for when it starts to look wrong, basically. That's probably okay. Now we're going to have to do this, unfortunately, the hard way. I rarely have to do this, but we don't want to be fighting with it. I'll probably come back in and put specular highlights in the eyes as well. Okay, I think I salvaged it. Pupils aren't the same size. And the density of this line's a little out, a little off. Okay, that looks pretty good, actually. All right. Let's turn the pencil test back on. And I believe this. Let's solo the pencil test and see what we have here. So we're in this position. We gotta slow out. So what the heck is this? Nothing seems to be happening there in the pencil. Okay. Guess I blew that, didn't I? I know what I did. Holy cow. That needs to be deleted. I love that landing pose, even though it's a little out. Yeah, for me, it's not even close, so this is downright embarrassing, actually. This is one of those that you're like, holy cow, did I just do that? Oh well, what are you going to do? Go in and try to fix it. You do not give up. Do not give up, Luke. Trust your feelings. Trust your feelings. Giving it a little bit more of a loose and sketchy feel will probably be a good thing. N key, not too bad. Solo this. Let's go back here. Okay, yeah, that's just a tween, so that's going to be that, which is also this. So now I think, let me check this too. Yeah, I don't know, folks. I don't know. I am not loving her eyes. Back here. It's just, well, you know, not to compare myself to Disney, but, you know, they used to have the same problem. Trying to get that delicacy in the ink lines that you had in the pencil test is one of the perennial challenges of animation, actually. Here, got to give her a little eye makeup, it looks like. Call the makeup department. That's a tween. And that's a tween, so probably we're okay if we just fix this one up. It's been hit and miss trying to see if just going straight from pencil test to ink would work, or if it's really necessary to do that second step. And the jury's still out. I haven't quite determined that yet. So even now, I'm still learning. Even now, always still learning. Okay. She's definitely got a bit of a, oh, blah, 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 what I have to deal with kind of look on her face. Let's go back. Okay, so obviously this is actually this. Once again, G key, E key. I'm going to do that, keep it loose. Okay, and then here, let's just look at what this transition is. Yeah, I'm going to actually just redo this. It's a pretty simple tween. I like that. I'd maybe want a little more density under here. Yeah, that's better. Now it's starting to look pretty. On the mic, it adds hiss. It sounds stupid. So, unfortunately, I am not really useful. Could be. It could be that. It could be that. And there goes OBS. So what we want to do is we want to get from here to here. So let's just do it. Let's just do it by feel. We're going boom with one tween that's going to be a slow out. So, sorry, that's not what I meant to hit. I meant to hit that. And I'm going to press shift and then make this really big. And I'm actually going to turn on the onion skins. So you can see what we want to do is just the tiniest, like that. To get from here, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. Boom. That looks pretty good, darn it, I must say. All right, there's a few things yet to fix, but let's keep rocking here. I'm going to turn the onion skins off, and I'm going to solo the pencil test. Okay, so this is going to be an eye close. That's easy with a little tween, little turn, eye open. So this actually should be a flip of this. It is. Okay, so that's good. So that means here, let me check that again. She's got a little bit more surprise in her eyes there. So we're going to definitely have to do a little tweakage. Come on, copy, control, drag. Okay. We're going to have to do a little surgery. A little surgery on the poor girl. Let's mirror that horizontally. And now I'm going to go ahead and actually what I'm going to do is drag it up here so it's apart. That way it'll be easier to select in a moment. And I just want to look at the angle. So she's, yeah, she's angled up. So I'm going to say, let's rotate that up a little bit. And then I'm going to do a little bit more. A little bit more surgery with liquify. Oh, come on. Okay, I see. Fine, fine, fine. So I got to do the free transform first to get her in the zone. Select that, and then this is the part that's going to be a little, nope, too much. I'm gonna actually go to a second frame here. Okay, that probably will work. Got a little patching to do, but that's okay. G key, just gonna clean that up. Clean that up. Take the E key to put it in erase mode. And then what I want to do here, again, she's kind of looking, wait a minute, what's going on with, ah, yes, okay. Okay, that's important. That's important. Let's get that. Got a little tweakage right there. Now, one thing you're not going to get with the onion skins is interior stuff. So you notice all the onion skins show you is the perimeter. They don't show you what's on the inside, which is a bit of a bummer. So I'm just going to take this real quick and loose and hope it works. Ah, it did. That looks pretty good, actually. That's what I was hoping for. Okay, let me see this. G key, sample that. And then I'm going to quite literally take these out. Okay. Hey Darren, how you doing, brother? Okay, so okay, let's do this right now just because it's going to be fun, and let's cheat like the dickens by adding another layer. And we're going to call this hair effect. Just because I don't usually do this kind of stuff too much, but I think it'll be cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat this by taking and just allowing her a little bit of hair down here. And we're doing that specifically in order to lay the groundwork for the effect. So I'm going to go like this, just kind of, and just do some fundamental squash and stretch. Keep that kind of in place. Just kind of tuck it in there. Doesn't need to be particularly prominent. But that way, when we go here, this is where it'll get kind of fun-ish. What I'm going to do is actually bake this into the tween. So I'm going to have the hair drag behind. This part should probably be a free transform, so we actually get it down here like this. And I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to try. So we're going to put this here, kind of sticking out a little bit. Watch this. This is actually going to be pretty cool if it works. I'm literally stealing this concept from The Little Mermaid. It's an homage. It's an homage, people. And then I'm going to do this about as simply as I think I could. We'll go like that. Okay, and okay, so it looks to me like I have entered the realm of indescribably stupid. So those of you who don't know what just went wrong, here's what went wrong. Just indescribably stupid. I'm going forward amending all of these frames. The problem is all Krita is doing is actually just moving it. There's no animation going on at all. Stupid, stupid mistake. When you have to put in an animation keyframe, or Krita doesn't know that it's supposed to be automatically keyframing. So I was doing all that work and actually accomplishing nothing. Pretty silly, huh? But I'm going to go like that. I'll just do it again. No big deal. we'll just go through it all again, won't we? The world probably will keep turning. That's what I'm thinking. So now I'm going to go G key, E key, and we might as well, if we can improve it slightly, let's do. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to do the simplistic animation first, and then go back in and add the secondary animation. So there's that, and I'll just, again, we'll cheat a little here and just pretend it snuck down a little further. Okay. And that was on the wrong key. Sorry about that. So this is a tween. Boom. So what would it really be doing? It would probably be swinging back a little bit this way. And the only reason I'm even adding this little hair sneaking out is so we can cheat this little effect. Okay. So now her mouth goes. Here we go. Here we go. Liquefy. And I'm going to go boom. And I think I'll do a little extra. And then what I want to do really is flip it. God, I did it again. This is the kind of thing that actually gets me to where I want to start cursing. Because it's like, really? How do you manage to actually be on the wrong cell? Like multiple times. I mean, golly, people. Get your act together here. Get your act together. Okay, so there's going to be a little bit of a, maybe a one frame pause. Now this might not work, but we'll give it a try. What the heck? That worked. Okay. It's not like the most beautiful thing we've ever seen. But, and I think the other thing we'll do is just to give a little credibility to this whole thing. Let's bake a little bit more hair situation into the main character on the other side. So I'm going to go back here and let's just say we're just kind of getting into this a little bit. It kind of creates a bit of an excuse for why her hair might be sticking out on the other side. And since she's in motion, I don't mind drawing it over and over. Okay, and then this is going to be something like that. And then, of course, we have a problem. And the problem is, okay. All right, okay. We have to do the unthinkable, which is put in a layer, put in a whole nother layer just for that one frame so that it can, so that the hair can extend over 2 frames. That's a little annoying. Okay, so now, and I put a keyframe in here. I hit insert and nothing happened. Why? Because what it's actually doing is I'm on the wrong freaking layer again. And I keep hitting insert and nothing happens. What if we take the key out? Nothing happens. Okay, so we changed it over here. Wow. So the hair effect is literally the wrong layer. That's not the layer we're supposed to be dealing with right now. We're supposed to be dealing with paint layer. Whoa, that was difficult and painful, wasn't it? That was like nightmarishly difficult. So what we have to do is here on this layer go like this so that that bleeds over up to here, and then here I would say let's just insert I guess the sensible course of action is gonna be to go like this and just let it prevail, because otherwise, sooner or later we're going to want those those extra frames in there again. So let's just deal with it. So we'll get it looking correct up to hair effect. Well, this is the price you pay, friends, for having a little fancy schmancy secondary animation. It adds a little something. Whether it's actually a good something, I don't know yet. Well, and that's oh, come on. That's the problem with I'm not close enough. If you're not zoomed in enough, Krita will actually, it just can't discern that you want to move it, because if you're zoomed out far enough, it only is catching the edges, and so it wants to like scale it and stuff. But I think in this situation, for TNR to have a little bit of a, be looking a little bit rough is probably not a bad thing. So I'm gonna go with that. Okay, so now I'm gonna do an Arabic lady. Well, that's, yeah, JP, that's what she is. She's essentially supposed to be kind of Greek with, she's basically Greek ethnicity, but probably a Hindu-ish religious background. So it's an eclectic mix of cultures, really. But I like it. Yeah, I mean, look. So I stole that from The Little Mermaid. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I like that too. Actually, wow, I really like that. Now that that hair's in there, it really drives home the, especially the fact that it's asymmetrical. I think it'd be worse. I don't know, maybe not. Let's be bold and kind of run with this and see if we like it. I'm going to do it with the brush though, so I can be a little more, yeah, I actually think that looks even better. So it certainly is consistent with the situation in which she has found herself. And I'm going to leave those hair items. I think I'll bake these two hair layers together, but I still want to keep them separate from the rest of her because I know I'm going to regret it if I don't. Okay. So let's just rewind. I'm going to turn the pencil test off and just kind of see what I have. I'll worry about shadows later. Can't talk today. Okay. I like that. So now what I want to do is I want to go into Tia's ink layer, and I really want to do a little work on her eyebrows. I'm just not getting enough of those gorgeous eyebrows happening. Got some latitude here because it's a tween. Boom, boom. Ah, yeah, we gotta thicken them up. Thicken them up, baby. That's okay. That's okay. Okay, we'll go with that. Again, that one's a tween, so we've got a little more flexibility. This one, I guess that's a tween as well, so we'll go boom, boom, and then we'll catch this one. Okay, and while we're here, we might as well do this, because even though it is a tween, it would be better if her lashes were a little more correcto. Okay, we'll turn the, okay, the shadow. Okay, did I just do what I think I just did? No, I didn't. Okay. I literally thought maybe oh, it's because I was jumping keys in this layer, so it was skipping over the hair animation. All right. I really like that pose. So now we got to get from here to here. So I guess we'll call this hair. And we'll just keep chiseling it together. Just keep chiseling, baby. That's going to be like that. And I think we'll go like this, balance this back up a little bit more, and then hit the G key, E key, and just chisel that back out. I think that'll be okay. Alright, save our work, save early, save often. Turn the pencil test back on. That's kind of weird. Why do we have this? I'm actually becoming confused by my shot. Let's go back here. It may be that I'm moving a little too fast here. Yeah, I don't even know what I just saw. I'm gonna save my work. Holy cow. Look at all these high guarantees. Boy, Darren, I tell you, you're so popular. That's what you get for being the nicest guy on YouTube. Not like me, Mr. Snarky here, wanting to curse at my computer screen and be Mr. Bad Guy. Okay, we got to get these, we got to get her around to these other poses, and then we got to get the eye blinks in there. So there's eye blinks, there's a hand. There's so much work to do. So much work. Let's go here and say, okay, let's patch this. I guess I want to solo this and look at on the pencil test. Okay, it's yes. So it was anticipation with an eye blink, turn, eye blink, and then the eyes open. Okay, so I complicated things a bit by adding this extra pose. So that's okay. We're going to be able to work backwards, so this is going to work fine. This is going to work. Don't be panicking out there. I know you guys are getting all worried. I don't think this is going to work. Oh, it's going to work. Okay. So now let's get our eyes fixed. I'm going to go here, and let's do this the fun way. Let's go B key. All right, what we're going to want to do is lower this by 2 pixels, and then let's grab the circle tool and start drawing a circle. Hit shift so it is constrained to a circle. And that's not too bad if it was the right color. You're a fool. Let's shrink it a little bit, and then you can hit Alt to actually dial it into exactly the right position, which is quite useful for, like, okay, hold on. What I mean is, I could go here, color, go back here. We can't use, unfortunately, we can't do behind mode because it's already got color in there, so I'm going to have to do this the hard way, as they say. Boom. And then I'll just sort of climb back in here with some ink to tighten that up a bit. And then I'm going to let her pupils be slightly offset. That wasn't maybe as round as it should be. It's amazing. You can think your eyes are looking gray and looking symmetrical, and then you zoom out and you realize they're completely off. Now this, actually looks like I lucked out on this one. Okay. Probably better check in with our hair layer. Turn our shadows off, but turn our pencil test down. Oh, there's just too much to keep track of. Okay, that's okay. I think. I would say, let me think about this one for a minute. Yeah, I mean, it's an anime style cartoon. I think we're okay with that. I mean, if you really wanted to pick it apart, I don't know that I need to necessarily move her head, but probably a little bit of something would be Just a little something would be apropos. Yeah, just something to suggest that there's some body language motion there. I think that's probably okay. I don't like, let me see here. Pull that out a little. And then probably squish this in a little bit more, I think. Yeah, that's cool. That feels like she's moving. And we can drive it home with the lines. The lines, I tell you. What are you talking about the lines there, Dave? Well, if we go back here, the lines kind of help us drive home the what's going on animation-wise. So we'll get this. Whoops. A little bit of that. Okay, that's got to be copied, but because it's a tween, in other words, because she's in motion, all right, we'll get away with it if it's reasonably close. Now that, what I just did was not reasonably close. It's got to be at least reasonably close. Okay, and then just a little something, right? Like that. Just so things move a little bit. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah, see how that drives it home? That's nice. All right. You see how those extra lines just kind of help sell it? They do help sell it. They really, really do. That I don't like. That's a little too strong. But I like the way it kind of supports the feeling of the looseness of her hair. So we're kind of allowing it to feel like she's maybe in a bit of a rough spot here, which she is. I mean, come on, she's in chains. All right, file save. How we doing on time? You really seem to have Krita down packed. Are you looking forward to the storyboard features coming soon? I don't know anything about that, JP. I do not know anything about storyboard features coming to Krita. If that means that you can do a storyboard and then the way it seems like it would probably want to work is that each storyboard lets you essentially drill in to a scene that's animated from the storyboard, so you're sort of going down into it. That could be useful. That could be useful. I think like all cool features, it'll come at a cost, because I can already see, just knowing how Krita manages data under the hood, I don't think you're going to get the procedural workflow that you would want that to be, but maybe. We'll see. I like her attitude. You know, I like the acting. I like the acting. I can't complain. I think I did well. Now back here is not as good. And I'm going to get real bold now, because I'm going to actually go in and start doing some mods to her characterization, because this looks better to me in her. It's not quite yet. It's always a bit of a challenge getting TNR's characterization just right. There's not a ton of room to screw up with TNR's face. There just isn't. Okay, and on this tween, do we want to, let's see about this. Do we want to have her a little bit of a push in here? So she's leading out with her shoulders, if you will, which would, and we're just going to sell a little bit of secondary motion on the hood. Okay. Now we got a little fix right here. Obviously. Okay. Now, if you were really all you cared about was saving time, then there's a case to be made for leaving the hand out of the shot, if the truth be known. Another thing is, I guess we'd like to drive home this eyebrow a little better, and probably the best way to do that, let me see. We're going to have a problem here. So yeah, let's capitalize on the fact that I kind of got it a little closer to right on this side and build it up slightly on the top. And by the way, we need to get this back to 6 pixels. Yeah, it's a little easier to see. Okay. I wonder. Maybe? Let's see. I actually like what that does. It's a little unusual to the style of the show. Little bit. But it's probably okay, because there's definitely places where we're using sort of different little animate techniques where we're taking the people obviously way out of character just because it's an effect. So I think I'm going to cut myself a little slack on that one. Like that. See, I think that's good. That's good characterization. In fact, I'll take it even further to see if it helps. Boom. Boom. No, it's too strong. Too strong. That's, yeah, it's still too strong. I think I'm going to leave it like that. Boom. I like it muy mucho. Okay. Alright, looking at the find Krita still be clunky, however. I'm getting really, I can't believe it's free. Yep. The use of the create a duplicate frame option. Yeah, I don't really do that. What I normally do is I just grab the frame that I'm duplicating and I just control drag it. And that makes a duplicate, so if that's what you mean. But I definitely am pretty okay with the acting here. We got to get those eye blinks in there. Let's get the eye blinks in there. We'll put the pencil test back in because I seriously, call me a cheapskate, but I'm actually thinking, why am I going to put her hand in the shot? I kind of feel like the hair thing is a nice effect. And if you look at the pencil test, see, I had her leaning on her hand, but I just don't know that that's actually necessary. I don't know. We'll see. Not going to say I'm going to do it. Not going to say I'm not going to do it. But let's go here and fix this now. Now here we have quite a complex situation that we need to deal with. So on the pencil test, we've got a tween, we got an anticipation and an eye close. I can only think about one thing at a time, so let's just get that. So an anticipation and an eye close. That means we're going to go actually, let me come back here and check one more thing on the pencil test. Yes, the anticipation is a modification of this shot. So let's go here. I know this seems a bit frenetic, but okay, so I'm going to do a little anticipation just like that. That's it. So anticipation, meaning in animation parlance, the way I describe it is we're deliberately moving the character in the wrong direction as a precursor to turning around and moving them back in the right direction. That tends to give you a little bit of, I wouldn't say some snap. It can, I mean, at 8 frames per second, it's often detrimental, actually. It probably doesn't work more often than it does work, I would say. That's been my experience recently, but it's certainly, if you're working at 12 frames or obviously 24, then anticipations can be quite a nice way to give a little more fluidity to your animation. So let's go here and again solo this is really strange. I'm soloing the layer. I'm not even going to try to describe what I think I'm seeing. So we got this paint layer, and I'm hitting solo, but I'm seeing nothing, even though that used to be the pencil test. There's the shadow. Okay, so that's because, yeah, stupid. It's because there's one extra key on the actual animation's got one extra key compared to the. But it still doesn't make sense that why does it keep disappearing? This is really strange. Okay, because that's not the pencil test. The pencil test is up here. No? This is what happened before. I'm seeing this old layer like from trying to do ink earlier. Very, 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 very strange. So there it says pencil. And now I'm seeing the pencil test properly. Yeah, so I'm just going to say, friends, this is probably what I keep calling a dyslexia moment. I'm probably looking straight at everything, and it actually makes perfect sense, but for some reason, it's looking strange to me. So, okay, I see what happens. So we've got a flip and an eye close with an eyebrow thing. So let's go here. We've already got the flip in there. So what we need to do, wait, I better check and see if there's a, so we got the flip and no change of position. Okay, that's what I wanted to find out. So no change of position here. So this is going here. And now we need to put back in the eye close. Yeah, like I said, sorry if that's confusing. It's more confusing for me than it is for you, trust me. I never realized how much I never realized how dyslexic I think I am. I don't know because I haven't really been diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I am because once I get past a couple layers, and especially if I'm having to work backwards, it's like my brain can't shuffle this stuff around. And very, very strange. Very strange. Now, there was one other change, which is that I believe in the pencil test. Okay. So I've got this change in direction and then the eyebrows, but here I left the eyebrows that expression a little bit, and then we'll just patch it with the freehand path tool. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Oh, there's a fair amount of subtle animation going on here today. Subtle animation. Okay. Now, without the hand in there, I believe the animation is basically pretty much there. You know, except we don't get to see her hair thing. I'll take the shadow out. Oh, I'm in solo mode. Sorry. Yeah. Now, actually, you guys, you know what? You know what we could do? You know what would really drive this home? Oh my gosh, I know what to do. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the liquify tool and we're going to do a shoulder drop here. Okay. Okay, liquify tool, please. Please. Don't be stupid. Oh, it's being stupid. I have to keep resizing it every time. I'm going to do one more. So three keys might be a lot. We'll see. And then she, of course, her shoulders jump back up, so I'm going to have to match that. That shouldn't be too tough. That shouldn't be too tough. I just want to get to there. If we see a little tiny chatter, we're probably okay. Little chatter, little chatter. I think we're okay though. So let's go back here and hit the rule to rewind button. I like that. I love the shoulder drop. That's good. And I'm turning my pencil test off because I think I've matched everything that belongs in there. Yeah, this is a longer than usual scene, but then again, it's a longer than usual scene. I mean, most shots aren't quite as long as this one. I like the acting. I like the acting. Okay, it's getting to be that time of the day, guys, where literally the sun is shining right in my face. Kind of crazy. You know, Dave, you might want to think about putting up some curtains. Okay, I'm going to look at the comments here, so sorry I have to like do this. In fact, so I don't look completely like a blithering idiot. There, I'll go like that, and now you guys can't tell that I look like a blithering idiot. Alright, hello there. I recently found out there the use of a create duplicate frame option. Does Krita have anything like batch specify cells? Or shift and trace? Hijab plus Bindi, what is this contradictory character design? Well, like I said, this story, you see human, this story takes place shortly after the Great Flood, like a couple generations, maybe a few generations from the time of the Great Flood. So it's a mishmash of ethnicities and colors, and I mean, to be fair, I really don't have a black character in the story yet, but Tianara, this girl, is supposed to be basically Greek. Like her skin tone trends towards like an olive color, but yet she's got the Hindu thing going on. This other character, Luca, if I recall, Luca's got the. I guess Luca doesn't have the. I guess what you'd be calling the Bindi thing. I think that's right. So, but you can see Luca's got the darker skin, more like somebody from India or Pakistan, but he's got light brown eyes. Mel is kind of more like a Caucasian, I suppose. So yeah, it's a real mix. And I did that on purpose. I wanted to basically just mix up the ethnicities and keep it, you know, all of the. I guess everything was more mixed at that time. And then, of course, for whatever reason, because people are people, groups probably tend to settle more into those who look, or obviously who believe, more like they do. So it's perfectly natural, a little annoying at times, but perfectly natural. I see one little tweaky poo here that's kind of required. There we go. That's better. Yeah, and actually, let me see about this. Yeah, since she's got the blow thing going on, maybe we could let that in just a little bit. We'll see if that makes it look better or worse. Yeah, I think it looks better. I'm going to take it even a step further, as I often do. I'm going to basically push my luck and risk wrecking things. We can always hit the old undo. Hit the old undo, people. Okay, did we get all our eye blinks? It seems to me the pencil test had. That's the color key. Seems to me the pencil test had some more eye blinks. I mean, really, you'd think there would be an eye blink in here somewhere. So I'm going to take the liberty of doing just that. So here we are on the ink layer, which also has the color, by the way. Boom, right there. right there. So we're going to take this and duplicate it to here. I said we're going to duplicate it, so I'm going control drag, by the way. Guy who made the comment about shift and trace. Darren, maybe if you're around, you can comment on that. Honestly, the shift and trace feature, which is specifically shift and trace in OpenToonz, I've never used it. How useful it really is, I'm not sure. But I'm not well acquainted with what even the true application of shift and trace is. Like, how do you use it? So I know that Krita does have a, let me see where it is here. There is a fancy schmancy process that I can't remember what it's even called for doing coloring, but I don't use it. I've explored it in the past. I don't remember what it's called because I just don't care, because I don't use it. So unfortunately, I don't really know what the application of shift and trace is. So if you want to post something in the comments to say, well, you know, a brief description of, not just for my benefit, but everyone here, what would shift and trace do for you? You know, why do I want shift and trace? What is that going to do for my workflow? I just don't know. So now she's got an eye blink, right? And I would say this needs to happen sooner. Even sooner. I think even sooner. The truth of the matter is, she probably should have her eyes closed when the blow happens, but I'm gonna keep it this way for now. And then maybe, since she's just sitting there while Fala talks, that's why this is held on the same pose for so long, because the other character's talking in the background. So, okay, with that, guys, I think I'm gonna quit for now because, like I said, I've got the sun shining right in my eyes, and usually this time of day I go just take a break, have a brewski, whatever. Okay, so Darren's helping us out here, and I appreciate that, Darren. I like shift and trace. It's really useful, but don't use it enough, partially because I've not animated enough yet, but we'll see how I do this coming year. For those that are interested, shift and trace is useful to in between two drawings that are far apart or rotated or twisted in some way. You can position the two drawings on top. Ah, yes, for tweening. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Okay, so, right. In Krita, I don't know if you'd really say Krita has a useful shift and trace feature. I think the closest you're going to come to that would be just using the onion skins, which, if you set them up properly, you would at least be able to see on, like, if I go in between here, if the onion skins were set up properly, which means a lot darker than they are, I can barely even read this with the light shining in my eyes. But anyway, suffice to say, is that the onion skins would at least show you the silhouette of these two poses. Well, that's why we're not seeing the onion skins, is because the poses don't change. So this is a better example. So we've got from this pose to this pose. And with the onion skins on, we can kind of find the pose in between. As far as being able to see all the outlines and line things up that way, I bet for me it would be about useless, because kind of hard to explain why, but it's like that's kind of a mechanical way of tweening, and what happens is I do it, and then if I just kind of start with a fresh drawing in between, I tend to get better results. But you know, it depends. But yeah, I guess one needs to search for shift and trace on YouTube to see what that's all about. Okay, guys. So because Yes, right, because you don't want right. UC human is kind of making the point that, um, and I don't know what batch specifies cells. I have no idea, JP, what batch specifies cells even means. Good thing you're asking, Darren. But UC human, right? What I was gonna say is obviously a key priority is that you don't want your character to change volume when they're moving around. I've never heard of that. I've never heard that term used in Krita circles, so I don't even know what that is. But yeah, with that, I'm going to sign off because I basically can't get any work done right now. There's usually about an hour or two in the afternoon where I just kind of let it go and enjoy the sun coming in the window. So with that, I will sign off. And okay, I'm going to look at JP's comment though. Batch specify cells allows you to specify any number of cells in any order you specify. But what is it you're specifying? I mean, you can like on the timeline, you could keyframe, insert keyframe left, insert keyframe right. So you can insert multiple keyframes, and it will essentially ripple edit, so it'll move everything else downstream. So you can essentially stick time in your timeline and make room for it. But I would guess I would have to look that up. Just inserting keys maybe isn't what you're wanting to do. Allows you to specify any number of cells in any order you specify. I mean, it seems like that would be some application for like rearranging your keys. I don't know that I would probably find that useful very often if I'm understanding correctly, but I'm not gonna sign off until I want to give JP a chance to explain this, because I'm actually kind of confused here too. And since Darren asked the question, let's just wait and see what JP. So he's saying OpenToonz has it. I'm gonna look in the OpenToonz manual and see what the heck that is. I do not know what batch specify cells means. So I'm actually looking here, you guys, on my other screen, and I'll just call it batch specify, and I can't see I cannot see the chat right now, so I'm gonna have to. So hopefully I'm not being redundant here. Aha. Nope. I'm not actually finding the term batch specify anywhere in the OpenToonz manual. I can find batch and I can find specify, but I do not find them together anywhere. So let me see here. Reverse put on to's reference animation. Okay, JP. Here's what I will tell you. No. Okay, thank you. First of all, no, you can't. If you need to loop an animated sequence, you do not have a way to do that in Krita. You have to basically take the loop or the sequence of cells and copy them as many times as you need. So that's pretty obnoxious. What you can do is you can grab a batch of cells like this, which I do this all the time, and then you can mirror them. So you can hit mirror frames and it'll take the selection and reverse it. The other thing it cannot do in Krita is take a sequence that's on ones at whatever frame rate you're using. It wouldn't matter, but if you're on ones, you don't have a way to select them and spread it out to twos. You know, in Blender, what you do is grab all your keys, set your playback head at the beginning of the batch of keys, and just scale it, and that would spread out the keys. And you can switch in OpenToonz from being on ones to being on twos, threes, or fours. None of that stuff is in Krita. So, you know, to a degree, I would probably make the argument, how useful is it in practice? But when it's useful, it's very useful. Because if you had a sequence that you had to, actually, you know what the quintessential application of that would be in Krita? Would be if I decided I wanted to add a little more detail to my animation and put it on 12 frames a second instead of 8. Okay? So that's a good example, because what would happen is I don't have a good way to just retime the animation keys. So OT calls it input cell number. Okay. Input cell number. I'm going to stay with you here and look this up. Input. Thanks for letting us know that, JP. That's cool. Input cell number. Oh, for crying out loud, I'm misspelling it repeatedly. That's bizarre. I'm actually, you know, now I'm looking for the term cell number anywhere in the manual, and I'm not finding it anywhere, not even one instance of it. You can change the duration of cells and reverse them. Right, that stuff's, and you actually, there are places in OpenToonz where expressions can be used as well, if you mean by expressions what normally people mean by that. Auto input cell number. That expression is what CSP calls it. Oh. Huh. Yeah, I wish we could loop actions. It would be nice if you could loop actions. But then again, like I said, in practice, every time I've ever needed to loop an action in Krita, I just duplicate. Usually what I do is I'll take 2 frames and I'll duplicate them, assuming you've only got 2 cells that you're looping. Okay, so for explanation purposes, let's just say you have 2 poses and you want to loop it. What I typically do is just duplicate the 2 and then grab the 4, duplicate that, grab the 8 and duplicate that, so you can really build up your loop pretty fast. But then when it becomes a problem is when you do that and then you realize that you needed to change something, and now every single one of those cells you got to go through and redo all your duplication, because obviously one of the great flaws of Krita is that the animation in the frames, the pixel grid, if you will, the picture is baked into the animation keys. That's definitely a weakness that you don't have with OpenToonz. OpenToonz makes a definite distinction between animation data and the content of your cells. So anyway, okay, we've covered it pretty well, I think. So to be clear, JP, if you search auto input cell number, that exact term, as you say, not input cell number, but auto input cell number. If I search that, do you find that anywhere in the OpenToonz manual? Because I'm searching in the 1.4 manual, and I cannot find that term. Pretty weird. So, didn't mean to belabor it, but anyway. Okay, with that, I'm going to sign off, you guys. Maybe back later today. Let me see. Hold on. Let me look at JP's last question. Does Krita have it rename in order of timeline? Rename in order of timeline. It would be, I put it this way, it would be really helpful if you explained to me not in software terminology language, but in normal language, what is it you're trying to actually do? What are you trying to do? I've got a sequence of frames that I assume are animated. Now, what is it I'm trying to do with them that's useful or interesting that you're describing? Because I'm just not getting what you're trying to figure out. I'll guarantee you can't do it. Okay. I'm sure it exists in OpenToonz and Tahoma, but I'd almost, if it has anything to do with animation, I'll guarantee you Krita doesn't have it, because Krita is pure frame by frame cell animation, and every single animation cell is a fully baked frame. In other words, there's no linking. Like, I can't copy this cell over to here, and then if I change this one changes as well, like it does in OpenToonz. Nope, can't do it. So maybe they'll get around to fixing or adding those things later, but considering how unstable Krita's been over the years, I don't really, I don't look forward to it, because whenever they add features, it just adds new bugs typically. So I found a workflow that, this is my advice to you, JP. I think maybe I've told you this before, but if you have any doubt and you like working with Krita, my advice is, like what I would do is I would just take this cell, and if I want to do anything that's more than just your basic animation stuff, I would personally just cut and paste it into Tahoma. So you're aware that you can do that, right? Mixed number of frames in order from 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it sounds like a looping thing. But for somebody that's at all interested in OpenToonz or Tahoma, I would say and it's by far the best workflow I've found overall, is just do your drawing and painting in Krita to the extent that you need to. Animate as well if you want to, but if you're doing a lot of what I'm doing, where you're wanting to take essentially static images and then animate them, and only really redo the drawing when you have to, then a really good way to work is just do the key drawings in Krita and then just paste them into Tahoma, and then you can do whatever you want. I think this is a very, very complete and powerful workflow, because I prefer this to actually using the smart raster levels as a general rule. There are exceptions, but generally I prefer to actually work with the raster levels pasted from Krita, because I have a little more control over the imagery. So anyway, if you didn't know you can do that, now you do. And then you can rearrange them any way you want on the Tahoma side. I almost think of these two guys as being, for all intents and purposes,